This is Martin Perdomo, the Elite Strategist on Latinos and Real Estate Investing podcast, and today's guest is Fabian Toledo. Fabian is a full-time real estate investor, a wholesaler, a flipper in Houston, Texas. He's also a licensed realtor for the last 12 years. He's the founder of LatinosandRealEstate.com, an organization that teaches real estate investing in Spanish. So he has a bunch of events that he hosts down there in Texas, and he does it in Spanish, which is amazing. Creativity is his belief is that creativity is fundamentals to deals. He's also a landmark education graduate, so he's also a mindset guy. I'm a mindset guy too. I know I have a lot of landmark friends, so that's amazing. He's originally from Colombia and is passionate about enriching the Latino community, as I am. We just have a little bit of a different market because he teaches real estate in Spanish, and I teach it in English. To the Latino community. His future plans include exploring the real estate investing in Puerto Rico and expanding Latinos in real estate into other cities. And I love to talk to you about that because maybe there's a listener out there that has a real estate investors club in another city and would love to team up with you and do that stuff. Welcome, Fabian, to the show. Thank you for taking time from your busy schedule to be here. I know that you could be doing something else, but as a fellow educator, you prefer to be here teaching, sharing, and helping others. Thank you. I know that my introduction to you is not enough, it doesn't do you enough justice. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Fabian, and who you are, what you do?
Gracias, Martin. Thank you for the invitation. Pleasure to be here. Well, I think you said a lot about me already. I think the interview is over. Just kidding. Well, I'm originally from Colombia. I came to this country about 15, 16 years ago. I had plenty of jobs before real estate. I used to flip burgers in Sonic. Now I flip houses. That's what I like to say now.
Nice.
What else? I was a bellman, a taxi driver, construction helper, Home Depot. I worked for FEMA doing inspections during disasters. I went to Puerto Rico for that reason, and since then, that's why I love Puerto Rico. It's the closest country that is similar to Colombia, and it's like the best of both worlds. You have the American system for the most part, and you have the Latino vibes and culture. What else? Well, since about 12 years ago, I initiated myself in real estate. I got my real estate license thinking that was the easiest way to get into investing. We didn't have any education back then in Spanish, as far as I know. Not even in English too much. Like it was very limited. We had a club called the Reach Club, the Real Investment Club of Houston, but just by the name, I was really like hesitant and scared of going myself there and saying, okay, I want to be part of the club, you know. So it took me a while to join that club. I finally did, and it was the best thing I did because that's when I started learning the strategies and meeting the right people in this business. And it didn't matter that I was a Latino or that I didn't have the language of real estate like 100% like the other people. But it was a little hard because this business is or this real estate is a third language, as you know, and learning your real estate third language in your second language could be, difficult, especially for me. For me, learning a new thing is a little difficult. But once I learn something, I really learn it really well and enough to teach it as well. So that's why I like to teach, because I did identify myself with people who have struggles learning. So I put it in a way that is didactic or easy to understand and fun to understand, because this could be sometimes boring, but if you make it exciting, then people will remember a little more.
Perfect. You touched on one of my questions that was coming down was the English barrier, and I want to touch on that again later. But I want to go right. I want to ask you this, and that is, what's been the one thing that you have done, right, as a Latino American, that English is your second language? What has been the one thing that you've done that has given you the most success in your business as a real estate investor?
Networking for sure. Like I will say like 60% of my business is just networking people who know me either because I speak Spanish, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So people who are dealing with a customer or seller and buyer who is only going to deal in Spanish, then that's a reason for them to contact me. Uh, I specialize in a neighborhood. It's called Sunnyside in Houston, which nowadays is not that bad. But before, it was like a considered a war zone. Like it was not a safe neighborhood. So, but I didn't care about that. I was just so eager to buy houses that I bought a lot of houses in there. Now everybody's buying in there, but before it was very difficult. So people will find me for partnering with them in those neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I specialize in subject twos, like taking over mortgages. So that's why people call me for that as well. So I will suggest people to find a niche, find something useful about you that you already know. Maybe you know about construction, maybe you speak Vietnamese, maybe something. Give people a reason to call you to partner, like indispensable for some reason.
Got it. Got it. You mentioned that your favorite strategy is subject to. All right, and there's a lot of confusion around subject to, being that that's your favorite strategy. Can you share with my listeners? Maybe they don't know what a subject to is. Can you give us just a step by step, one, two, three? What is a subject to? What does that look like? How would you do a deal like that? How do you find a deal like that? Can you share that with us, please?
Of course, this is the best strategy in my opinion because you don't need a lot of money because you are recycling the existing loan. So if the seller is behind on payments, let's say with Chase, and Chase is about to foreclose the property in about a month or maybe less. Sometimes it was less than a week. And maybe it's behind five payments. Let's say five payments, 5,000 plus 2,000 in attorney fees. That's seven plus another two in closing costs. That's nine. Let's say the seller wants some money. So you give them, I don't know, 3,000 at closing. That's I'm at 12. And then 5,000 in repairs. That's 17. So you let's say 20,000 altogether. You spend 20,000 getting a house, and the value of the house is probably like 200. So that's a low cost to get a house compared to have 200,000 plus the cost of the loan. So you're saving some money on the loan. You're getting the same terms of that loan. Let's say it's 4 or 5%. Let's say the payment is about 1,100, and then you can rent the house for 1,400. So you
Okay.
will have about $300 cash flow every single month, and the loan
Mhm.
will go down. The appreciation hopefully goes up, and then you start really capitalizing on something. Because if you stay on wholesaling or flipping, then there's a job, in my opinion. I mean, I do it as well, but it's not my purpose in life.
Mhm. Okay, so I have a question on that. So how does one convince a seller, right? How does one convince a seller, hey, stay on the mortgage, I'm going to pay it. And then what's the exit strategy, to flip it basically, or rent it for cash flow? What is your strategy on a subject to? And I asked for myself as well, because subject to is not one of my main strategies. So I haven't done one. I'll be
Got it.
completely transparent with you. I haven't done a subject to. I like to know how a guy like you that does subject to works it out. I have different strategy. So how do you convince someone to, hey, stay on the mortgage?
Okay. So the mortgage will remain on the seller's name. So that's the biggest concern for them, that I'm not
Yep.
gonna pay the mortgage. So I tell
Yep.
them there's two things in the house, the ownership and the debt and the property, the mortgage.
Mhm.
So I will buy the house, the deed will come to my name, and the mortgage will stay in your name. Now, if I don't pay the mortgage, the lien is still attached to the house. It doesn't disappear. And I'm
Mhm.
still obligated to pay it, not because I'm obligated because it's on my credit, but if I'm going to spend $20,000, as I just mentioned, the breakdown
Mhm.
of the cost,
Yes.
why will I stop making the payments? Like that would be stupid on my side. Like just
You
spend
losing money,
20,000
correct?
and lose the house, you know? Like I have a record of other houses. Like I show the sellers here. Let me show you the logins of other properties. As you see, this Wells Fargo account is not mine, it's Antonio. This other account is another deceased person, and so forth. So I start showing them proof of what I did before, and even if I don't have proof of that, like they are in a they don't have a choice really, like, or I'm the best choice, because it's
Got it.
either that or losing the house, losing the credit,
Got
uh,
it.
getting a hard time buying another house later, getting a hard time getting a job, getting a hard time getting electricity in the house. Like there's so many benefits for selling me that they don't really realize it like right away.
Mhm.
And I will make the payments on time, so that will make their credit grow again. And one concern is, but I want to buy a house later, and if I already have a house, it's gonna be hard. Yes, it's gonna be a little hard or harder, but if after 2 years I can show the future bank who is gonna lend you that I'm the one making the payments, I can prove it to you. Most likely, and I've seen it happen, they either they don't take it in consideration that that's against their credit, or
Mhm.
they take it like 25% against their credit. Like if it's $1,000 monthly payment, they only have like $250 a month, like as
Towards
a
their
payment.
DTI.
Yeah,
Yes. Towards
exactly.
their D. Towards their.
So so it's not a big deal. I mean, it's worse than having. I mean, it's better than having um, a
Foreclosure on your
foreclosure
credit.
in your credit. So, and there's so many other, like if you throw me a question like what about this, then I tell you I can't remember
And
another.
now I'm gonna ask you another question. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my next question is, okay, what happens now when, how do you protect yourself? Because technically on paper, they are the owners, they're on the deed. Technically, first position lien holder is the the bank. You cannot put your name on the deed. So if you wanted to sell that property, how do you write up the paperwork to protect yourself and to protect your initial investment of 20,000 plus whatever you put in rehab and the time and all of that stuff, to protect yourself when now you want to dispose of property? How do you write, what paperwork do you put together for that?
Well, at least in Texas, I do take over the deed. The title will be in my name or
In
my
your name.
trust. I buy in a trust. So let's say my name. I buy it, and it's gonna be mine, like completely. I can do it either in a title company, or I can do it in a Starbucks without any notary.
Yeah.
Like,
So you transfer the title to your name.
yeah, completely. Yes.
Oh, okay, okay. That was a step I didn't know that. Okay, awesome. I
Yeah,
learned
title
something.
will come to my name for sure. Like I wouldn't do it without that security, because otherwise I will have to
Big
like
leverage.
ask permission for them to sell it later,
Mhm.
stuff like that. Now, if the seller is too concerned about my performance of paying the mortgage, sometimes I will create another deed of trust where it's an instrument for them to foreclose on me if I don't perform, and they will
Mhm.
take over the house again. But that's just
Okay,
if they're so like concerned about it. And the thing with that is, if I do it when I sell it, I have to have their signature, and
got it.
if, if you can't find them, then it's a little hard to sell the house. So I rather not do it. But if it's a matter of losing the deal because I don't do it, then I'll do it.
Yeah, that's a great strategy, Fabian. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Uh, Thank you. That I learned a ton from you. I really learned a ton from you. And I'm sure that some of the things that you teach in your courses, right? In
Yeah,
your
I
seminars.
have a class that is specifically for this deal. I take 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. I have the dates here, 19th and the 20th of September, from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. And I teach it everything from the beginning to the end, and I show how I do it with the contracts and questions, answers,
Got it.
everything,
So,
everything.
and you teach it in Spanish, right? So,
Yes, yes.
so just in case, because right now this is July 31st, 2020. This podcast will be playing in future to come. You'll tell them later for future events where they can find that information, right? You have a website or something. We'll talk about that at the end. And just so we can be clear that where people can find you. Where being that you originally came from Colombia, right? You wasn't born here. So you came from Colombia, you worked in these blue collar jobs. Now you're a subject to specialist and you're hosting events, you're teaching the stuff, which is awesome, right? A lot of people have these stories, you knowing, being a landmark graduate, that the stories we have in our heads usually dictate our outcomes, the conversations. So tell me, how did you deal with that, being a blue collar job guy, working at Home Depot, being a construction helper? Because I'm sure there's listeners out there that are saying, hey, man, that guy's sharp. They're listening to you and they're like, man, he's really sharp, but I don't know that I can do that, right? That's the story.
Yeah.
How did you overcome that? How did you deal with that? And where did personal development play into place for you, right? Because obviously personal development has a big part of this. It's a big part of this
Huge.
component. We both know that. We both know that. I know that you know because you're a landmark graduate. So we both know the component. So how did that start for you? How did you deal with the English barrier, and how did you manage that?
So at the beginning, as I said, I saw the webpage of the Rich Club, the Real Investment Club of Houston, and I noticed like most people were Anglo, like white people, and I said, well, I don't think I fit in that environment. I'm not white, I'm not rich, I don't know anything about real estate, and that's why it took me a while to go. But
That's the story.
after, what was it?
That's the story. I'm not
That's the
white. I'm
story,
not
of
rich.
course. That is the story.
The
That's
narrative. That's the story. Yeah.
and like after I took Landmark, I just realized that that's stupid. Like I just want to
Mhm.
look good. I'm afraid to like risk it or fail and all those things. I'm not enough. Things like that.
Yeah.
So
Limiting beliefs.
limiting beliefs, yeah, like I wouldn't go in front of the public and say anything, not even ask a question. Like I was so like hesitating, especially in English. I said, "Fuck," and like I don't want to look bad in front of people. But
Yeah.
after I took Landmark, you know that didn't go away, but I learned to live with it. Like I'm still not hesitating to go in public and teach classes. Like I still feel butterflies. That feeling doesn't go away. It's just you learn to live with it. And so I started being intentional on everything. So it's not about the mechanism. The mechanism comes later. If you have the intention of doing something, then everything will align to you. Like my jobs were no longer just any jobs. Like I started finding a job related to real estate. That's why I went to work for Home Depot.
Mhm.
That's why I was a construction helper. That's why I work for FEMA doing inspections around the country. Those things help me to build the better version of myself that I am today, and have so much knowledge in different fields of real estate. And every day I learn something new, either in a podcast like yours, or I go to another seminar, or I teach a seminar. Because as you know, when you teach, it's like learning it like
Learning.
200% more.
Mhm.
Like, damn, like finally I know it. Like I thought I knew it, but
Mhm.
it's not true. Until you know how to explain it, that's when you know, if you know.
Yeah, that's great, man. Thank you for sharing that, because a lot of us in the Latino community, you know what, you were blessed and fortunate enough to find an organization like Landmark, and that helped you with your mindset. And that's the biggest challenge I teach I teach, Fabian, that 80% of success is mindset and 20% is skill set. So just the subject too, that's skill set. That's just learning. But if I don't first work up here and I don't take action and I don't believe that I can, it'll never happen. It will never happen. My next question for you, sir, is what advice would you give your younger self, right? So here you are, the young man. How old were you when you came from Colombia here?
16.
You were 16. So here you are. What advice would you give your 16, 17, 18-year-old self when you came here from Colombia now, from your perspective where you are now? What advice would that be?
I would say risk it a little more. Uh, don't be afraid to look bad. Travel more, even though I travel a lot more. What else? Spend more time with family.
Hmm.
Mm, what else? This is simple. I don't have anything
Perfect,
special.
perfect. And then one question I like to ask my fellow investors here is, as an investor, we both know that first deal, right? Dealing with that fear. We still have that, like you said, we still have that butterfly before we get on a stage, before we're teaching a class. There's that thing, right? And the very first deal that we do as real estate investors, there is always that fear of, am I doing, there's always those questions, right? Am I doing this right? Is this right? Am I going to make
Yeah.
money? Am I going to lose money? Tell us about your first deal and tell us how you dealt with that anxiety and that thought, those questions. Am I? Can you tell us about that?
My first house wasn't a deal, was just a regular house where I wanted to live. So that's not a real investment. But I bought it when I was 18. I didn't really give it too much thought. At that time, everybody qualified for a loan. So that's
Mhm.
how I got it so easily.
Yeah.
So it didn't really require me any skills or anything special. But my first investment, I was like 20 or 21, and it was a little house about to fall down. I bought it for like $11,000, and I'm very happy that I didn't know what I didn't know, because if I knew back then the amount of work and the amount
Yeah.
of like weekends, me working physically once in
Dándole.
the house, I would probably not do it, because I was too young. Wanted to party. I wanted to be just traveling. But after I bought it, I said, well, I have to finish it. And I didn't have a lot of money to just pay other people. So I was going on the weekends, because I didn't get permits. Oops. so, so that's why I was doing it on the weekends, because it
Uh-huh.
doesn't work on the weekends. So,
Uh-huh.
and to save money, to be honest. So my advice is, don't overthink stuff. Like, don't wait to know everything, because you will not. So that means you will not start anytime soon if you're waiting
Yep.
for like to have all everything map and everything pretty and everything aligned. That's not gonna happen. Everything aligns once you buy the house. Okay, so just
Yep.
do it. And of course, don't. I mean, don't be stupid either. Like, just learn a little bit, and or get a partner. Get a partner or a coach or whatever. But don't
Mentor.
wait. Don't stay home and just watching videos all day long. Like, that's good. That's part of it. But intention yourself with actions. Actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, massive action, baby. I'm always talking about that here in this podcast. And so you did this first deal, right? How long did it take you to do this deal?
From beginning to end, like 2 years. Like, it was a
Holy.
long university, and I was taking some construction classes at the time, because I got laid off from the Census Bureau, and I qualified for some classes with a nonprofit, and it was about construction. So I was learning construction, and I was applying it in
Good.
the house. So that's why I learned so much about construction materials and all that. So now it's easy for me to like tell people what to do, because I already did it. Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Let's shift over to education. Why are you an educator today, and why is education important in real estate?
I have few reasons. I had a lot of friends who wanted to learn, and I didn't want to just do it one by one, because that's just too much time. So I wanted to probably do a little group. But the final like motivation, I don't want to be political, but But when Donald Trump said that Mexicans were rapists and drug dealers, stuff like that,
Yeah.
that touched my heart. It's like I feel Mexican, I feel Latino, I feel like we are one. So I
Yeah,
wanted to
everyone here.
instead of like whining about it, I wanted to do something to show not just Trump, but the supporters or whoever thinks the same,
World.
that we're not that we're more than that. We're here to grow this country. We are like a special part of this economy, and that's why I wanted to share my knowledge with more people, and not make this business exclusive to just one part of the society. So that's why.
That's awesome, man. That's really commendable, and I'm proud that you're doing that. I'm really proud of the work that you're doing, especially in the Latino community. You know, I interviewed someone recently, and you're speaking to my mother, right? My mother came here my mother doesn't know English. How many of my family members came here and still don't understand the language. My mother-in-law doesn't. My mother-in-law lives with us, doesn't speak English. She understands it, but she doesn't speak it, right? Yet, here you are, an example to that. An example to that. You came here as a teenager. You came here. You didn't know the language. I was lucky. My mom came pregnant here with me. You didn't know the language, and here you are. Not only are you doing it, now you are teaching it, and you're teaching it in Spanish to the Latino community to help and empower them, to move them out of those blue collar jobs that you have done, that I have done, that our parents done. Because all they teach us is work hard, work hard, work hard, but they don't teach us work smart. They don't know. They just don't know what they don't know, right? So it's not their fault. It's just the way our culture is. It's the way Latinos are. We work hard. We were taught to work hard. Most of us, si somos pobres, we're poor, like I was, right? That's what you work hard. We're taught you work. The harder you work, the more you make. That's a story. That's bullshit. We both know that. You got to work smart, right? So how can people get a hold of you? When are your next events? Tell us about that. I know that you host Latinos in Real Estate in Houston, Texas, and you have, I think you said you're going to start doing every other month meetups. How can people reach you? Tell me, email, websites, where can they
Yeah.
find you? Where are the events? Remember, you teach in Spanish, so I want to make sure people understand that you teach in Spanish. So you might have a relative, you might have a friend, that wants to learn how to invest in real estate. But they feel more comfortable. They're listening to this. They feel more comfortable learning in Spanish. You need to reach out, check out Fabian's stuff and see where his events are, and tell us about that. Tell us how they can reach you. Do you do mentoring and coaching, by the way, as well? Do you have
Uh,
mentoring and coaching for them?
I'm starting to think about it. A lot of people ask me for it, but when I do something, I really want to have a structure for it, and I not just charge and not give a good service. So if someone is interested, I'll take your name and number and let you know when I'm ready. But not right now.
For
But I
coaching, not
but I
right
do.
now for coaching.
What was that?
Not right now for coaching, right?
Not right now
You're
for
not.
coaching, no. But
Okay, so
I'll
tell us
take
about
your
the stuff that,
information.
tell us about the other stuff that you are doing, your
Got
events,
it.
your meetup, your education platforms. Tell us about that. Where can people
Yeah,
reach you?
I used to do the meetings monthly in Houston, live, and also in Dallas,
In
uh,
Spanish,
in
correct?
Spanish. Yeah,
Correct or en
but it
español?
didn't matter that didn't speak English, Spanish. Sorry. I had like at least 10, 15 people who didn't speak any Spanish, and they still go for the fun, for the food, for the women. I don't know, for whatever reason they went to my meetings. Who knows? Okay.
Yeah.
My next classes are September 5 and 6th. Um, this is the basic class from the beginning to the end. So if you don't know anything, or if you know a little bit, this is the class for you. This is from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. and it's too long to talk about it, but it's just the basic one and intermediate. And the second
September
one,
5th and 6th of 2020. Let's make sure because
oh yeah,
this podcast will
2020.
be
Yeah.
yep,
In case
September
if
5th
you
and
include
6th,
it. Mm.
2020.
And it's via Zoom. So if you are anywhere in the world, you can join.
Virtual.
Yeah, it's
Perfect.
virtual and it's very interactive. The last one we had was so much fun. Because at the beginning I had a limiting belief that I couldn't do it online because I love to connect with people and laugh and make stupid
Me
jokes.
too. Me
so,
too.
but with this Zoom, it's great. You see the interaction live. So So it's fine. I like it even better because I had so many people from all over the world. Even my parents were in my class. So
Very awesome.
that was fun. And the second class that I have, this one is specialized in subject to deals, taking over someone else's mortgage, stepping into the seller's shoes and making the
When,
payments.
when is that? When is that class?
This one is in the 19th and the 20th of September. And like I say, it's only
2020.
subject to, like, you will be a pro after this class. Is both days between 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. also via Zoom. And later on, we will have events in Houston and maybe in other cities. And if someone is looking to start a club, Latino
En
club,
español, right?
in
En
Espanol,
español. In Spanish, right, my friend? Okay, so I'll make,
yeah,
okay, perfect.
so contact me. My website is latinosinrealestate.com, latinosinrealestate.com. My phone number is
Wait,
83.
real quick,
Was it?
before you give the phone number, are the Zoom links to register on your website for these events? Or should I,
Yes, yes,
are they, are the Zoom, so the Zoom links are at latinosandrealestateinvesting.com so people can register for these events. Okay, great.
correct.
So
Yes.
perfect. Go ahead, your phone number you were saying?
My phone number is 832-844-3000. And it's on my sign right here. 832
832
844
844 3000.
3000. Yeah.
Perfect. So those are the ways that people can reach you, latinosandrealestateinvesting.com. And
And
is there any other?
if you need my email, it's Fabian at fabiantoledo.com. So my first name, Fabian, at first name again, fabiantoledo.com.
Perfect. And then you're on social media as well. Latinos in Real Estate Investing is on social media.
Latinos in
And
real estate, yes, and
I'm
also
sorry,
my
Latinos
name,
in Real Estate. Yeah.
Fabian Toledo, and Fabian Toledo X with the letter X at the end, in Instagram and also in Facebook.
Perfecto. Fabian Toledo with the letter X. Fabian, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time uh, to be here and sharing all of your knowledge. I hope that people, those Spanish-speaking people, take advantage of your events. You're obviously a knowledgeable guy and an educator, and you have the heart for it. It takes one to know one, right? Thank you again so much, and I look forward seeing you grow and your success. And I'd love to have you back here again in the future sometime as you continue to grow and evolve in your education career. Thank you, Fabian.
Thank you, Martin. And I forgot to say that I have some classes that are already recorded in my website, latinosinrealestate.com. So if anyone missed the class, then just go to the website and you can
Perfect. We'll
get it
put
from
the
there.
link on the show notes. We'll put the links to your website on the show notes here so people can go whenever they listen to this podcast, whether it's in the future. The show, your website show notes will be, I'm sorry, your website link will be here and people can get all your information. Just make sure you keep that thing updated because people are going to go there.
Got it. And thank you, Martin, for giving me the space to grow the Latino community. Uh, you are one of us, and thank you
Yes, I am.
for like getting this together and creating wealth for the Latinos. And we can be a good team. You do the English part, I do the Spanish part.
I would love that. I would love that. We definitely should connect and do something like that. I would absolutely love that. I'm also, like we said, I'm a mindset guy. Thank you for coming. I look forward to seeing you, and I'm proud of the work you're doing. Please keep up the good work. Please make sure you continue to educate the Latinos again, because that's my mother, that's my family that you're educating right now. You know, I was lucky enough to have been born in this country. I'm a first generation American, and I speak Spanish, but my English is much more fluent in English. That's why I prefer to teach in English. But thank you, sir. I really, really
Thank you,
appreciate.
Martin.
I honor and respect the work that you're doing because you're helping the people that need it the most, that don't have the education, don't have the resources, right? Because we come from third world countries, we're immigrants. We don't have the resources, and and then there's a language barrier. Thank you for doing that, brother. I am honored. I
Sure.
honor and respect you, sir, for doing what you're doing. It's very honorable.
My pleasure, my friend. Take me to República sometime.
Will do.